Hello, good morning, Mr. Lolo. Today I'm Muhammad Hafiz Izzuddin bin Abdul Halim, who will present my assignment 1 presentation. As for the topic I choose, that is a student depression affect their future. So we often hear about the depression. The depression actually is a state of mood when you fall down, you don't feel motivated, and this depression is causes not by yourself, but to your it can be your environment, your self-esteem, or even the people surrounding you that causes the depression. So that is the simple definition of the depression. So for the question I choose regarding of this topic, the problem I choose is what is the main cause of the depression among the student. By the way, in this student context, I mean it on the secondary and the primary student, especially that's still in the school and still in most their parents' care. So the first question is, what is the causes of the depression among students? We in fact hearing bullying, parent expectation of the academic achievement, usage of alcohol, plus to and something like that. The three causes. But from my research article, I am adding another one causes why children often have depression. Mostly under secondary and the primary student. So the first cause is bullying from other student. We know bullying from other student is causing no mean specific is the physical bully, the touching, the one you can touch, you using force to deliver punishment to the child. So in the context of bully other student, yeah, it's in fact give give the children most depression because they afraid come to school, they afraid they getting bullied, they afraid of getting bossed around, they afraid many things. So from bullying itself, it causes lack of self-esteem, afraid to doing mistake, and afraid about the bully because mostly the bully is threatening if they tell or report it to their parents or to their teacher. So basically on the article I refer, they have 4,094 cases in 2023 only bullying. That is higher compared to the 2022, which is 3,887 cases. So we can see, yeah, it's like a small addition of number. It's like 100 or 200 something, but it proves the bully is the main causes of depression. Since it's increasing, the fact bully also can be the depression itself. Imagine the student is getting bullied, they're getting bullied, but one day when the bully is like graduated or something, there is the feeling mostly there is the feeling inside the student that getting bullied. They want to release their anger, they want to release their suffering that they're going through. So when this student have this mindset, they will become a bully when they reach the senior level later. So yeah, this tradition is keep on going and going, and thus become the student depression. Okay, the second causes is parent expectation. Okay, regardless of the parent expectation in student academic achievement, is also a main cause of depression. As we review the case, in the Penang, a 14-year-old female student suicide by jumping off the building and take her life by herself. And when the investigation, the police found a note belong to that student that committed suicide, that because of the parent expectation, she afraid to come home regarding to see her grades. She worried if her grades doesn't satisfy her parents, so she rather take her life compared to showing it to the parents. We From that case alone, we can see the parent expectation really affecting a children. Depressing. It's depressing. Growing tired. Okay. The third one, the rarest depression causes is the usage of the alcohol. Mostly in the primary, this case is not familiar, but on the secondary level, there are actually some cases regarding of the usage of the alcohol. Uh, the recent news in my hometown, Semporna, my junior tells me there is a drug case involving the Form 2 and Form 1 student. Form 2 and Form 1 student, they they curious about what the alcohol tastes like. So the first sip will start making them addicted to it. So every time they want come to school, because this student that committed this crime is living on the hostel, means they're far away from the parents, so they let their curiosity win and they start drinking the alcohol. So when they drink alcohol, the first few weeks is fine for them, but eventually, as we know, the drug effect is like a medicine for a bit. It's like you drink alcohol to relieve your stress, just to not think about it. But eventually, if the drug effect is off or time out, then the stress is coming to you. So you're still thinking about the same problem. So you continue taking alcohol, you start, and the worst part of the alcohol, it also make you sick. Your body is growing tired. So not only you have depressed, not only you sick because of problem in your head, but you also reminding yourself, you torture yourself with the alcohol. You have pain back, you have headache, you lazy come to school because of the usage of alcohol, you lack out many things, you failing every test. So this is causing your depression. So the cause in this is the student itself, the usage of alcohol. There's no one forces you to take alcohol unless yourself willing to do it. Okay, for the last causes that I actually asked my junior, because I know my junior since like 5 years and we still contacting each other until to this day. I interviewed him, so I found some interesting during that interview. The apa the the cause of depression is the place them to relieve their loneliness. I know it's quite like controversial, but this is actually a true story. This is actually a true causes of depression. If if student doesn't relieve their stress or talking to someone, this actually leading to loneliness. As you know, loneliness itself, you're isolating yourself from others. You don't want to hear anything from the others. You just want you and yourself. You don't want seek for the help. You don't want anyone to interfere with your life. So eventually this is leading to the individualism. You take the approach to yourself and you thinking, only I can do this because the depression comes from me. So this is actually a true reason. The loneliness and place them to relieve their stress is actually the causes of depression. Imagine if you depression, like we see no, for the example to this day, mostly the student on the primary and secondary playing games because of their depression, because they're tired, they're stressed, they don't want to learn they need to take a break. But if this if this if this you call the relief stress, this is wrong. It's make you addicting like alcohol, like the alcohol place, but this is actually the more focusing to your habit. So relieve your loneliness by playing games too much, you left out so much. Still the same reason, you left out many things, you don't want to hear advice and not willing to change. This is actually affecting your mental health and causing you to depress because of the student action itself. Okay, for enough with the causes. This is the second question. What actually the depression can do if what can the depression do to the student? Okay, from the research of the article by Nor Ashikin Jamir, 11 November 2020. In these cases, she stated that in this article, the main effect of the depression is impairs cognitive function. Because if the student is depressed themselves, we feel it, we depressed, we hardly concentrate to focus, we burden our mind with the something that unnecessary, we not concentrate about our study and learning, and this is also the effect. It impairs the cognitive function. Instead of you thinking about solving the problem, then the student thinking about their problem and leading them not focusing in the class and eventually failing their class. Okay, the second one from the article I picked, that is the absence rate and tardiness increase. If you're depression, you don't have mood to do anything. You just want to be yourself. You isolate yourself. So eventually, the place that better isolate is at home. You can relax wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. There's no one who judge you. There's no one like to tell you, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong. There's no one. So the absence rate will be increasing the student that experience the depression, because they want time for themselves. But the term of this give the time is wrongly used, because they take a break much longer. They left on many things that more important compared to their study. Like they rather think about the problem, the misfortune they face, compared to the focusing the future they can reserve to become the more successful people. So the third one, this is not from the article, but this is from the real life experience I see. The student that depressed will become the criminal. So during the course, the first question I say about the bullying, if the student have the mindset of they want to revenge, they want people to suffering, they want people to feel what they feeling, so they become a criminal. We see in many cases in the Malaysian, usually the pickpocket from the street is usually a children. Not all of the children doing the pickpocket because they're hungry. No, because they are suffering from all the humiliation they face during their face at that time. So they will become a criminal. They want to do something wrong, something like crazy, out of mind, like murdering. We also hear the cases: the student murder someone, the 19-year-old student stabbing the female at the stomach, but luckily the lady doesn't die, but still that student get in prison, juvenile, because the stab in the stomach can lead to death. So why the student become the criminal? Because of the depression. That is because of their mindset. They want people to feel their suffering. Instead of forgiving, instead of scanning what they can do to improve their life, they're focusing on why the world doing this to them. Why? This is not a bias actually. This is not a bias because in some of the view, the student is wrong, the parents also wrong. But if we look together, this both is connected, because the parent itself is the first teacher of the student. So if the student is doing wrong, maybe because of their parents doesn't treat him well. But this is also not fully parents wrong. this is also because of the student itself, the influencer, with the effect of depression. Moving on to the fourth one, isolation. So the effect of depression is isolation. The term of isolation I will discuss here, not same like the second one, the abstinence. The isolation I mean is the narrow mindset, the feeling they don't welcome people, they block their heart, they block their mind to open to people. They tend to believe that only me can solve this problem, because there is no one I can trust compared to myself. I'm willing to deal this because the problem starts with me and it must end with me. That kind of mindset is actually what the depression can do to the student. Isolation. So for the last one, the effect of the depression, what depression can do is make obvious the student lost interest in pursuing the career. So regarding what I say, because why the student lost interest in their study and pursue career, because of, maybe you can say, like the parents' expectation, the bullying. So they tend to believe as long as you have the power or opportunity, you don't need to study. You don't need to study. But in the reality, even you have much power, if you don't have the study, you still not a success person, because you lack of empathy, you lack of knowledge. All your judgment and decision is only following your mind and what the wrong things you do. Okay, for the third question is things things that causes. Okay, not avoid confusion, the third one is actually still the causes, but actually the causes that not be seen by others mostly. So for the causes that they don't see is that most people don't see, due to the common reason, or maybe this is because of the bullying, this is because of what, is the first one, parents demanding and parents attitude toward the child. So why I'm saying this is the things that all not look at. Actually, the people always see if their student, if that person is doing wrong, they actually accusing the parents. So like the parent is connected to the child, but this is actually not true. The child itself is doing great, but due to the parents demanding, they want the student to become a doctor, but the student actually don't want to become a doctor. The student itself have free will to choose what career he or she wants, but the parents, because of the stereotypical type, they want the pride, they want the fame, they want to be seen as a higher and good figure because of their son. This is actually abusing their power as a parent. They don't care about the student, their children feeling and empathy, don't care about the children interest. Instead, the children is becoming their asset, the things, not their successor, their things, the tools for them, how they get respected by others. The second one is the relationship in the student. Okay, this is actually a common, but not really much in the news. But this reason is actually leading to the depression. Also, imagine if the student have the romantic relationship, he or she have boyfriend and girlfriend. So automatically the focus is dividing into two. One is for academy and one is to give attention to their partner. So your mindset start from this. Usually there are some cases that both goes well. They are paying attention to the study while they study. This study also, they make them, the girlfriend is to motivate themselves. So maybe it goes like this, but in reality, not all of the couple in the high school goes like that. Mostly they goes like this. They separating each other. they pulling insane the student mind, so they not focusing. The first one, they losing their girlfriend. Then the second one, they lose their opportunity to study, so they don't know which one they want to focus. This eventually leading to depression, seeking for help me. But this can avoid that if yeah, the first solution is like they don't, and in the first place they don't find the partner or soulmate. Or the second one, they can just take it easy, like they don't rushing the things with each other. So for the third one is they afraid to doing a mistake, because the afraid of doing mistakes actually causes of depression, but not entirely because of their career path. This is more likely to be their experience they're going through. Some people don't doesn't like to get scolded. They're feeling themselves unmotivated, and it's like disrupt their mental. So to avoid things, they rather to not do anything, not trying anything, just not get scolded by their parents or others, so they can still maintain their figure as a good people by not by doesn't don't do anything. This is actually same concept like isolation, but this is like you don't want contribute to yourself, you don't work better for yourself, you actually lower your standard by not doing anything, but you actually can do so much, but you prefer not because you're afraid to get judged by people. Okay, the for the last one is the environment encourage. So if this is actually still a controversial pick. Nowadays, I'm doing a question to all my friends in Malaysia, Indonesia. Most likely, if the surrounding become like gloomy, sad, and depression, they tend to feel like getting the vibe. They want to be stay depression. I also myself feeling that I'm in a good mood and I'm in a good life, but still I'm feeling depression. I don't know because of the what. But turns out that feeling of the depression, you wanna be depression, is like a seeking attention. Seeking attention. It's actually not a bad behavior. You're seeking attention, but if you let yourself become a depression, you want to cosplaying a depression or emo person, but yourself is like having a good life, that just showing the you doesn't grateful what do you have. So this is actually a reason why depression exists. This is small things, but actually happen, it impact really big. You doesn't have a reason to depress, but you still depressed. That means you just ungrateful. You don't want to. You like to stay depressed because the depressed people always get seen as a cool figure. Oh, he's so depressed. You're cool. Mostly, this is actually not true. But in most cases, in most colony in the school, the emo people sing as like cold, they like the people search for them. So the interpretation of the information on that is false. So yeah, that is the third question. Oh, I forgot. The third question is about the what are the other things that the causes, but actually not. So I know it's confusing. I'm also confused, but in that context, I mean, what is actually not the causes of depression, but it can turn to cause because of the behavior of the student itself. So yeah, that is the third question. Moving on to the fourth question is it I actually wondering myself, is the depression is causing by the self or environment, or is it have anything to do with the parents or government or something? So in my point of view, I believe it is actually not a specific causes. Like some causes can be interior causes, interior causes and exterior causes inside the student and environment around the student as like parents. So I believe this is actually not a parent's wrong, not a student wrong. This is actually if the student is depressed, both is getting the blame, because the first one, the student don't know the skill to manage their stress, how to deal with problems they face. And the second one, the parents is connected, why they didn't teach their son about the stress management, about the about how to control yourself. And it's also in the government's fault, because the government, the student at school is have potential to become the successor, to become asset to the country. So they abandon their future leader. So that is actually all fault. Is That is actually fully wrong. So in this fourth question, I want to answer no. It is not. It is not a specific person wrong, or some people, some organization. No, this causes is affecting by all around in connected with that student. So for my last question is, who's actually responsibility to handle the depression among the students? Okay, if you're talking about who responsibility, of course, the responsibility comes to self. So the one have the responsibility, the higher Q in responsibility is the student itself. They need to learn how to adaptable with the situation that make them depressed, how they control themselves, how they're managing their time, how they're going to spend their time ineffectively to avoid confusion, to avoid stress. So in that student view. But the second one, after the student, the responsibility comes to the parent, because the parents is the first teacher of the student. The parents can check their child usually, because they always meet at home, especially like primary and secondary students. They always go home talking about how is their day going on. So the parents become more encouraged compared to the demanding. So the parents like become the guardian, not a figure, not a figure one respect, or want to see as a higher up. It's like the parents is like a friend to the student, but in the context like not actually a friend, but they also the closest one. So the closest person must lower their chance to strike or to swear or to curse the child. They need to protect their children by doing the best. They become a supporter, they become a listener. So that's how parents is actually can responsible in the student depression. They can avoid this if they just open minded and acceptable. So for the third one is the community. The community is actually not a big role, but they still affecting the outcome. If the community is working in the responsibility, the community, like, if they actually care about, if they see like someone like painting, or do something wrong, instead of just smacking them, instead like smack or like curse them, why don't they care? They ask why that student doing this, why. So yeah, the community can be a self-awareness. There's awareness of their surrounding by being friendly and report to the parents, to the respective of that student that commit the unnecessary behavior. So the responsible is also, yes, the government. Okay, as I explained in the before question, the student that school have a potential to become a successor asset to the country. So the government, we can see the government is actually taking an act by hosting a stress-free, by by forming hospital and they're carefree. If they have depression, they can dial a certain number, they can dial a certain number. They can also counseling treatment. This is also a part of government because a government funding this facility, funding this service. Is it used, is it when the people use it to their advantage or benefit? So that's all my problem presentation and responsibility. And also in the second poster I put the reference where I do the research. The person is the article by Dr. Ashikin Isha about the case study on the Penang, the causes of the problem. And the second is the rakyatpost.com. This is actually the reference I got the cases among the Malaysian student happen. The third one is mental health in student 11 July 2024. This article this is actually not an article, it's like what they call health the health website. In this health site I get my point of whose responsibility. And the fourth one is the mental health cases among youth are worrying trend, October 2023. This is actually Dr. Zahila talking forum about the mental health cases. She stated is 4,024 4,200 4 to 400,000 students facing depression. So this is where I actually get my data of the depression, the cases. So the last one is actually obvious, the Google, the definition of the depression, the extra causes of why depression is occurring. So that's all from me. Thank you, Miss Lulu.